Welcome, everybody, to our first Forward Party statewide town hall of 2026. Thanks, everybody, for attending. My name is Rick Kennedy. I am the state chair of the Texas Forward Party. The voice you heard that I was talking to was Brandon David. He is our state secretary and has done a heck of a lot of work on the deck that you're looking at, in fact, and I'm going to apologize to him in a minute. You'll also see Becky Neely on the call, our state treasurer, waving away there. Thanks very much. You see a list of our 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 current county chairs, and you can read the counties that they represent. We have several more in the pipeline as well. John Flood is on the call. He is going to be our Harris County chair. We have a couple of others in the pipeline as well that once we get through the whole process of onboarding them, we will announce. Notably absent on that list is Dallas County and Bexar County. And if you are in either one of those and are you interested in hopping in neck deep for what we're trying to do here, by all means, click the button or read the QR code there on the lower left-hand corner, become a county chair, and get to the link and let us know that you're interested. Even if you have a county chair in one of those counties, every one of them probably needs a vice chair, and every one of them needs assistance. So you can enter that way as well. Tonight's agenda, I just said I was going to apologize to Brandon, because he put a great deal of effort to put this deck together, and just frankly, I wasn't feeling it. So I'm going to ad lib and freestyle a little bit, although it's all based on the deck, and just rearrange things a little bit. So the first thing I want to do is, are there any first timers on the call here? Anybody, is this your first introduction to Texas Forward Party or the Forward Party in general?
Yes.
And was that Alejandro?
No, that was Adrian Brown.
Adrian Brown. Okay. Adrian, you spoke up. I see lots of thumbs up. Okay. Adrian, you spoke up, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Why are you here?
Well, I've read the emails and newsletters, so forth, and I retired recently, and I need to find something to do as a constructive outlet, and I think that this political engagement in 2026 might be the best use I can make of my post-career efforts. So I'm diving in here, listening to you guys, and I think I'm aligned with the Texas Forward Party's platform. So here I am.
Okay, marvelous. Thanks. Let me drill on that one just a little bit. You could do a million things in retirement. Why is this important?
Well, I think everybody that's on this call right now understands that this is not a typical election cycle. This is not typical times. And I think I need to make the greatest impact that I can post-career. And right now, I think it is getting engaged in politics to try to get rid of what's become the unfortunate status quo.
Excellent. Thank you. And Diane's already paying you. What county do you live in? What county do you
I'm in
live?
Harris County. I'm
Right.
on both outside of Houston.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Okay. So, any other first timer want to express why they're here? Just shout it out.
Yeah, sure. My name's Jason Cody. I've been politically inactive for quite a while after the 2020 election. I was a big supporter of Andrew Yang, and just recently reread The War on Normal People, and listening to his predictions of what was going to happen in 2016. And obviously everything that he did predict did happen. I work in tech myself, so I saw it coming as well. And at this point, with the way that AI is going, something has to be done, and we're not going to get anything close to UBI if we don't get some sort of elimination of first past the post voting first. So that's primarily the reason that I'm here, to support in any way I can.
Excellent. Thank you. Any other first timers?
Yeah, Alejandro. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Thought I'd be the first woman to join or to speak up. I'm Brett, so I do have a guy's name. But I've been getting the emails for a while. I've toyed with political ambitions at some point in the future. Former real estate developer, now a consultant. So, but I think it's so important to remember what the government's for.
Okay.
And I mean, the government is here to serve the people, and or is there to serve the people. I'm not in the government, but I think that having something that is a conglomeration, is just so important.
Okay, thanks. Alejandro said in the chat that he's here to learn what we're all about. He likes any effort to break out of our two-party winner-take-all system. And you found us because your mom joined a party? Okay. Fantastic. This is what we like. We like word of mouth and family-based expansion. Yeah, go mom. Exactly. Wayne Fowler, you have your hand up. Are you self-identifying as first timer, or do you want to say something? If you want to say something, you're on mute. Okay, we will move on. Just a first time and no mic. Okay, very good. Thanks. We got technically adept crowd here. A lot of times people even struggle to find the chat. Now I want to go to the other end of the spectrum. Who on the call who is not a county chair or a state officer of the party, who is on the call, and I'm looking at you, Sue Mel Daisy, or Bob, has been with us for a very long time. Sue, I'll pick you. Why are you still here?
Well, I started right at the beginning, Rick, and then
I know.
and I really enjoyed it actually, but then I had a few health problems, so I had to kind of step back. But I'm better now, and I've watched the Forward Party, and I'm just so fed up with politics right now. I'm actually up in Canada right now, at my mom's house, and I listened to Mark Carney's speech tonight about the New World Order. If you haven't heard it, I highly recommend you listen. We've got to do something to help the United States, and I really hope that the Forward Party. I'm really hoping the Forward Party can get footing and get their ideas out there. We need a third party. This two-party system leads to binary thinking, and we need a population that can start to critically think. And you can't critically think if you can only see one way or the other. Binary thinking is the enemy of critical thinking, and this has to change. And the Forward Party gives us a platform to introduce critical thinking. And I know Elon Musk. I follow that. Talked to Andrew Yang. I'm not a fan of Elon Musk, but if he gave us money, I'd take it and then just run with it. Good. But we have got to change the way people think. We have demonized each other, and it's led to what we have in the country today. So. Wasn't bad when you had two parties. They were kind of not moderate, but it's not there anymore, and we have to change it. So that's why I'm back. That's why I'm here. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, and welcome back, and thank you so much. I think you and I met at my house in North Austin like 4 years ago, right? So,
yeah.
I do appreciate. I appreciate you coming back, and the reason I just spent 10 minutes doing this is when Susan met at my house 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I would start every in-person meeting in my home the same way. I would go around the room and I'd ask, why you're here, why you're here, why are you here? And in Susan's case, I asked, why are you still here after 4 years? Because I want everybody to know that we're here for a common purpose and for a common reason, right? Everybody here is here for some reason. There's some sense of urgency. There's some sense that we are in an abnormal time. There's some sense that something fundamentally needs to be changed. And that's why we're here. And that's why I'm still here. I joined this, I started back in January of 2022. It's been 4 years. And one could argue that we're not making a lot of progress, but that's actually not true. And from there, I'll segue in to the progress that we are making. So the change that we want, can you all see my screen? I just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay. I see heads nodding.
Yes.
Yeah. The vision here in the state of Texas is the same. It has been the same, almost from day one. And that is to create a wedge in the state legislature, or as I'm starting to think of it, more like a control rod in a nuclear reactor, right? Because the reaction's spinning out of control at the moment, and we need some mechanism to bring balance back to the system. So the vision is still the same. We're still trying to create this wedge of representatives, probably in the state house, who are aligned with our values, who are aligned with our vision, not necessarily forward party members. They could be Democrats or they could be Republicans, Libertarians, Greens, Independents, who are trying to get the state, who are trying to align with our values and our priorities, but enough to deny both of the legacy parties the majority and be able to force them back to the middle, for the lack of a better phrase, but somewhat back to what Susan was talking about, how when they were a bit more moderate and they would actually cooperate with each other, we would see more things get done. So that vision is still there. We've hit some road bumps along the way, some speed bumps along the way. It's very difficult in Texas, one of the most difficult states, if not the most difficult state in the union, to get your candidates actually on the ballot. The legacy parties control the legislation. And they control who and how you get on the ballot. And they've set up some of the highest hurdles in the country for a new party to get on the ballot. And believe me, the Libertarians and the Greens are on the ballot only by the good graces of the legacy parties. They debate whether to kick them off the ballot every legislative cycle. And both sides decide that, hey, the Republicans think that the Greens take votes away from the Democrats, and the Democrats think that the Libertarians take votes away from the Republicans, so they let them stay on the ballot. They don't make the hurdles even higher. So that's the goal. And we've been growing. As I said, we started this back in January of 2022. We are now almost to the day on our 4th anniversary. And over that time, our presence, our footprint has grown across the state of Texas. So the map in the smaller bubble is where we were a couple of years ago as far as people who have expressed support or interest in the party goes. And the bigger map, of course, is where we are now, with the darker purple representing more people expressing interest, more volunteers, certainly county chairs in those counties, et cetera, and the beginnings of an organization. And it's an organization. It's very loose at the moment, and that's the theme of this presentation tonight, because this organization is too loose to be able to mobilize to support any of those candidates that we're looking to get into the state legislature. And the emphasis of this year has got to be to tighten up that organization, get it to the point where it can be mobilized, and we're going to try to do that this cycle to the benefit of a whole series of candidates, not forward party candidates because we don't have ballot access, but independents, certainly at all levels, and any aligned Democratic or Republican Party candidates who are aligned with our values and our mission, they would be open, or we would be open to supporting them as well. And oh, by the way, I will just keep talking. So if you have a question, shout it out. If you have a comment, shout it out, or put your little electronic hand up. And we'll try to recognize it. So, why do people take action? And again, we're all here out of some common emotion, some sense of urgency, right? But millions of people across the country, and certainly millions of people here in Texas, share that sense of urgency, that sense that something's wrong, but they don't take action, right? Because people don't take political action just because they're informed. They take action because they're enabled and empowered by somebody that they trust and they know, and with whom they share those feelings, to be able to go ahead and take that action. Those feelings like anger, like frustration, hope, some sense of urgency Anger is a very negative emotion, but it is highly motivating. Hope is a very positive emotion, but it is highly motivating. I think we all share some of certainly I do, a mix of all of those emotions at the moment. But to get people mobilized, to get people actually to do something about it, usually takes encouragement and support from somebody that they know or they trust. And so, again, as I said, we've got a very loose organization that's not tightly organized enough to be able to take action. And so what action do we want to try to take here in 2026, in the 5th year of our existence? Unlike in the past where we basically just talked about what we want to do, we do now want to be able to mobilize. And we want to be able to mobilize to the benefit of a whole slate of independent candidates who have already sought or at least are in conversations with seeking our endorsement and our support. So we intend to have a slate of candidates at every level, from the local, municipal, county, state, and federal legislative level, all the way up to statewide candidates. And we've got some specifics to shout out. Mike Collier, who is running as an independent for lieutenant governor. We want to be able to support Mike's campaign in every way we can. And certainly one of those aspects of support is going to be try to help him get on the ballot. As an independent statewide candidate, he needs to get 81,000 signatures to get his name on the ballot. So we want to be able to help him do that. William Taggart, our own homegrown, if you will, forward party member, former Harris County chair, who resigned specifically so that he could run for United States Congress. Also the author of the book, Fixing America, in which he lays out essentially a platform for fixing all of the most challenging problems that we face as a nation. He's running in Congressional District 38. Veronica Williams is running in Congressional District 23. They're all running as independents. CD 23 is basically kind of flanks El Paso out on the west side and runs all the way through Big Bend, all the way down the Rio Grande, all the way to San Antonio, where it kind of almost looks like it's taking a bite out of San Antonio on that end. It's a geographically huge district. Both of these candidates face they also have a challenge to get on the ballot. They need 500 signatures. That's a heck of a lot less than 81,000, but we want to help them do that. Raj Vats, who's on the call, has filed to run as an independent for Harris County District Clerk. He needs to get on the ballot as well. And beyond getting on the ballot, after we get them on the ballot, we want to be able to support these folks going forward with phone banking, with block walking, distributing literature, and building support for them, and finally getting out the vote. Now, I'm going to go back a slide because I want to talk about who are these people that people know and trust, to the point where when they call up and say, hey, I want to go block walking for Mike Collier this Saturday, can you come out and join me? I got a list of houses. We're going to knock doors. We got literature to drop. Can you spare a couple of hours on Saturday morning? Who are those people? Those people are your precinct chairs, right? We've got county chairs. We've got county chairs in officially 11 counties at the moment, but more like 14 in reality. And those 14 counties are amongst the top 20 in population in the state of Texas. So we've got more than half the population of the state covered. But county chairs operate at the county level. And if you're in a county like Harris County, it's 4 million people. If you're in Hays County with me, there's 200,000 registered voters here in Hays County. It's too much to do for a county chair, and it is too impersonal at that level. You have to have personal contact, and that's why we are trying to recruit precinct chairs, all of our under all of our county chairs. And try to recruit as many precinct chairs as we possibly can, because precinct chairs are the direct voter contact in any party. They are the heart and soul of any canvassing effort, any signature gathering effort, any get out the vote effort of any party. You can't do it without precinct chairs, and without precinct chairs who have organized in their precinct with neighborhood captains, block captains, whatever you want to call them, right? So, the average precinct has about 2,000 voters versus the 200,000 that I've got here in Hayes County versus the well over 1 million in Tarrant County. I don't even know in Harris County. It must be 2 million in Harris County, right? So, you need people, who are essentially the feet on the street, and who form that, personal relationship with the voters in their district and are able to mobilize them when the time comes. I'm going to tell you a story, an anecdote, about the most effective. Robert, I see your hand up. You got a question right there?
Yeah, real quick. As an official precinct chair, would you be able to get a forward party email address so that you could communicate with people in your precinct without handing out your personal email?
Yeah. If nothing else, we can give you an alias, but sure. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, and there's all sorts of concerns, right? About, having your personal email out there. And let me tell you about, again, that anecdote about the most effective precinct chair, that I ever have come across. She was a Democratic Party precinct chair. Not that matters. I'm just identifying her. She was a Democratic Party precinct chair where I used to live. And I didn't tell you at the beginning, but I actually ran as a Democrat twice for United States Congress. So as a candidate, I interacted with this person quite a bit. But as a precinct chair, what she would do is she would have a meeting at least once a month in her home for members of the precinct. Usually, again, her key contributors, her key supporters, her block captains or her neighborhood captains. And the nature of those meetings, and sometimes it was twice a month. If it was election season, it might be more often. And the nature of those meetings varied. Sometimes they were very political. Sometimes it was flow down from the county party down to the individual members of the precinct. Sometimes it was the opposite direction, precinct members raising issues that they wanted to elevate to the county or state level. Sometimes it wasn't political at all. Sometimes it was like a book club. Sometimes it was like a wine tasting. For me as a candidate, it was often an opportunity to get in front of a small room of 8 or 10, obviously very friendly to a Democratic candidate room, and test my stump speech. Take question and answer. So it's an opportunity for candidates as well to get in front of a room and to fine tune their pitch. But where this woman really shone was when a local school board race, Moms for Liberty, let's just be frank about who it was, put a slate of candidates on that school board race that was going to take over the school board that most of the people in the school district did not want to happen. This precinct chair immediately recruited candidates from her known sources, mobilized her people. They phone banked, they block walked, they distributed literature, and they swept that local election, and they kept that school board the way that the majority of the people in the district wanted it to be. If they had just sat there and done nothing, it would likely have gone the other way. So that is, in my mind, that's the prototype. That is the epitome of the precinct chair role. Susan, go ahead. Question.
Yeah, I do have a question. Back when I was working 4 years ago, I wrote the manual for the county chairs because I was the Montgomery County chair at the time. I don't know if you still have that manual or not. And the state election laws are very strict. But I'm wondering, Rick, if we aren't trying to necessarily become a party on the ballot, can we take a totally different approach other than the precinct structure and maybe just try and take, like, I'm thinking like SWAT teams. You go in and we get 500, we all go to a shopping mall, get 500 signatures to get somebody on the ballot just to get a candidate going, and then default to more of a party structure that's not so spread out. If our goal is to get people on the ballot, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out, but until we get locked in, because the Texas election law, when I was writing that manual, is incredibly complex, and it's actually designed to keep the Republicans in power and everybody out of power. They've got it down to the minute things, and a little violation of it, they'll jump on your case, and that's the end of it. But if we aren't really officially in that role yet, can we step outside of a party structure and more or less do kind of special ops type of thing? Special operations for our own way of just getting independence. I think there's a huge thirst for an independent party. If you look, and I think you showed stats 4 years ago that only 25% of registered voters are Republicans, 25% are Democrats, and all the rest are somewhere in the middle. Couldn't we take an approach and we all go to a mall one day and get 500 signatures? It's just a thought. Just wanted to throw that out.
Yep. Yeah. Bear with me while I go to presentation mode so people can actually see the presentation a little better. I had to switch screens. Hold on. And I'll get to your question in just a second here, Susan. It's an excellent one. I want to share this screen. That screen now. Okay. Hopefully that's a little easier to read. The answer to your question, Susan, is absolutely we can. One of the reasons, and we can do both, right? One of the reasons why we are focusing on building the legally compliant, if you will, precinct chair structure is to learn, to exercise those muscles, to get that infrastructure in place so that it's ready to go when we are ready to go and get ballot access. So we have no illusions about how long it's going to take to put this infrastructure in place. To be ready for a legitimate ballot access drive in 2028, we have to start building it now. Now that doesn't mean that we can't, as you say, put a Taggart team together and go, flood some public space. Not a mall. Typically you get chased out because they don't want political activity, but, some public place, whether it's a farmer's market or whatever, and canvassing, on public turf and gather as much signatures in one go as we can. Absolutely. We can do that. At the same time though, we definitely want to start to build this structure that we're going to need when we are, nominating candidates. Okay. Go to presentation mode. Okay. Yep. Cameron has been sued. Yes. All right. So, that's the big call for, precinct chair volunteers. Again, there's a QR code there. I hopefully have summed up, what the precinct chair role looks like. There's obviously a lot more detail around that. But if you're in one of those counties where we do have a county chair, by all means, and you're inclined to do so, please scan the code and sign up, or go to the website and sign up. If you're in a county that doesn't have a county chair, it's a bit more of a commitment, but by all means, if you are inclined to start building such an organization, again, go to the website and let us know. We've got some very short-term goals between now and March. We're in basically startup mode. We're trying to get the seed funding, if I want to keep on corporate speak here, to begin the process of getting these precinct chair, this structure in place. So between now and March, we'd love every county to have a couple of precinct chairs. I've got a stretch goal out there for 5. That might be a stretch. It's only a few weeks away. And the precinct chairs starting to get organized in their precinct as well, setting up a monthly meeting cadence, et cetera, and starting to put this in place. The reason we want to do this before March, and again, Susan, back to state law, and us basically trying to practice being a party before we can actually be a party, is in March. We're going to host precinct conventions and county conventions, as if we were nominating candidates. We are not. These are organizational conventions. These are not nominating conventions. And we will have our first statewide convention on April 10th. Actually, April 10th is an evening gathering, and April 11th is where the meat of the convention will be. It'll be a one day event, essentially. The convention's going to be in the Austin area. And at that convention, we'll be, we'll be practicing. We'll be conducting elections for state officers. So state chair, state vice chair, state treasurer, and state secretary will be up for election. And if you're a bona fide member of the Forward Party, meaning that you are officially affiliated with the Forward Party, you will be able to participate in electing our statewide officers. There will also be workshops. We'll have speakers. Some of those independent candidates that I mentioned earlier will be in attendance. We are hoping to have somebody from Forward National come down and be in attendance and be a speaker as well. And of course, we'll be doing things like regular parties do, like voting on amendments to party rules and things like that. But again, to participate officially as a voting member, you have to be affiliated with the party, just like any other party. If you, and state law again, if you vote in a Republican primary or if you vote in a Democratic primary, by default, you become affiliated with those parties and you cannot be affiliated with any other. Now, I want to be clear. I am not discouraging anybody from voting in the primaries. In fact, I encourage it. But just to be clear that if you do vote in the primaries, you become a Republican or a Democrat for the rest of the year, and you cannot participate in the official ongoing actions of any other party, regardless of the Forward Party or the Libertarians or the Greens or any other. And again, that's by state law. All right. Where are we on a time check here? I am going to stop presenting because I have basically said my piece about what we're trying to do here in 2026. And I'm going to get you over to this screen so that I'm looking at you and looking at the camera at the same time. And I'm going to open it up for questions. Yeah, Brett, all of these laws are outdated. Let me tell you. And they are specifically, I see your hand, Ed. I'll get to you, but I want to point out a truly outdated law. I've mentioned that these candidates, Mike Collier has to gather 81,000 signatures. William Taggart has to gather 500 signatures. Those signatures have to be ink on paper signatures. They have to be notarized. This is a law that goes back to ballpark. It's the 1910s somewhere. And in addition to having it be an ink on paper signature, and again, come on, this is 2026. You can literally move hundreds of thousands of dollars without signing a document, right, in the banking system these days. Not only do you have to have an ink on paper signature, but you must read, the person gathering the signature must read a lengthy disclaimer to the person who is signing. You cannot let them read it. You cannot bypass it. And all because, this law was written back in 1910 sometime, when the literacy rate was a lot lower than it is now. And you literally had to read it to people just to be sure that they understood what they were signing. So if you're not a notary, you should become a notary, or you should become a deputy voter registrar in your county. That's also helpful. Ed, go ahead.
Turn off my mute there. Just a quick comment and maybe confirming. They can't, someone's voted in the primaries, they can still attend our convention, but they can't vote, right?
Correct.
So I just wanted to encourage that if you do choose to vote in one of the other primaries, that doesn't mean you shouldn't come to our convention.
That's correct. Good. That's correct. Okay. And yes, Robert, if you do not vote in the primary, you can show up and participate materially in the state convention, as long as at that convention you sign the oath of affiliation with the party. And again, to be clear, it's a little unclear on state law, but to be safe, because we're not nominating any candidates, it's unclear that the law is a little unclear, but to be safe, actually, this part is clear, so I apologize. If you sign an oath of an affiliation with the forward party, you are affiliated with the forward party, and you cannot vote in the subsequent Republican or Democratic runoff. You cannot participate in the activities of another party. So if you want to participate, and by all means, I hope you do, in our state convention, you become a member of the forward party for the rest of this calendar year. On January 1 of next year, we all turn into independent pumpkins again. Susan.
Okay, that was the question I had because I voted in last year's primary, so I'm now free of that vote. And then how do I affiliate with the forward party again?
The only way because we don't host a primary, the only way to officially affiliate with us is to become a officer, which is become a precinct chair or a county chair, and then you are automatically affiliated, or sign the oath of affiliation.
Okay. And how do you sign? If I sign the oath of affiliation, do I mail that to you or something?
I can send you something, yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's good to know. Thanks.
Yep. Cameron.
All right. Hope you're having a good night. Hope everyone is having a good night. Just a quick question. The county chair is a very important role.
Yep.
The vice chair is a very important role for the county. What would be the job description of a county treasurer, and what can that add to a county party?
Money. The job description for a county treasurer would be, just off the top of my head, very similar to the state treasurer. Your responsibilities are to establish a fundraising mechanism, which would be, in our case, a general purpose PAC at the state level, file all of the appropriate documentation with the Texas Ethics Commission to do so, file the documentation with the IRS to do so, and then be on the hook for semi-annual filings with the Texas Ethics Commission's financial filings with the Ethics Commission, and of course at your county meetings as a treasurer, you would be expected to deliver the treasurer's report. How much money do we raise? How much do we spend? How much is in the bank? That kind of thing. That good? You got it?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted a county treasurer is a very important role, so I just wanted everyone to know the description and just how difficult and how selfless a county treasurer position is.
They're all a little selfless at this point. We're an all volunteer army. Nobody's getting paid to do this. So, how would the average citizen obtain one of the affiliation documents? Wayne, I will send you one. How's that? And then you can sign it and send it back to me. Actually, that's a point of, that's an action item for us. We actually have to make an affiliation pledge available on the website for people to be able to download and sign. All right. Any other questions? We are spot on at 45 minutes past the hour. Any other questions, comments? Anybody in Harris County, please call Raj at the number in the chat there. Raj, again, is an independent candidate for district clerk in Harris County. Any other questions, comments?